Welcome to the Notorious Scoundrels, a Star Wars Legion podcast bringing you the latest news, general perspective, and competitive discussion.
Hello and welcome to the Notorious Scoundrels podcast. I'm Kyle. I'm here with Jay and Lucas. What's up, gentlemen?
I saw that you paused to make Jay go first. I'm a little disappointed that you're letting his reign of terror just whip you in line.
Look, man.
I thought you're an independent thinker.
You gotta know where your bread's
ignoring
buttered.
polls and everything. But you listen to when Jay tells you something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an independent thinker until the boss says something, and then he thinks exactly what the boss thinks.
Yeah,
That's the kind of employee I like, Lucas.
I should take notes.
All right.
I wish you would.
All right. Well, today we have a lot to talk about because we got yet another preview article.
Oh,
So we are, of course, going to talk about the Mauldalorians. That would be their non-canon name, by the way. They're the Mandalorian Super Commandos. I'm not sure where that comes from because I've seen Clone Wars and I don't feel like I ever heard that phrase.
Mandalorian Super Commando comes from Rebels.
Okay.
Quick spoiler alert if you haven't watched the two different shows, but all the Mauldalorians end up joining the Empire and fighting for them, and then they're formally referred to as the Super Commandos.
Okay.
And it's the same people. They have new armor,
Right.
but
Yeah,
that's
Star
why they're
Saxon and
yeah.
I just feel like it's a little weird that they wouldn't have like a different name when they were working for Maul, even though it's the same people, because they used to be like Death Watch, right?
Some.
Yeah, some of them, not all of them. Yeah, and then they became Maul's Mandalorians, and then they became the Mandalorian Super Commandos, apparently.
It's because what's it called? How to just blank on the name? The Blue Mandos.
Pre-Visa?
Yeah, what's that group called? Death Watch. Death Watch splinters into, I know, that's what I was saying. How did I forget the name when you just said it? Death Watch splinters into the Super Commandos, go with Maul, and then later the Empire and the Mandalorian Resistance fight on the Battle of Mandalore, and then later again, fight in the Battle of Mandalore again. So I think the idea is it's the same people on both sides, just who they're fighting for kind of changes.
Right, because Bo-Katan was also Death Watch, and then she became Mandalorian Resistance,
Yeah.
Okay, well, history lesson for those that have not seen the Clone Wars and the Rebels show.
We take our
officially
Mandalorians really seriously.
The Mandalorian Super Commandos, but I'm sure they will be called the Mauldalorians or simply the MSC. Not to be confused with MXC, like the Japanese show, which we already talked about.
I love Most Extreme Challenge. Oh, guys, so good.
Yeah, we already talked about getting Lucas a hat. I think this was the last.
Yeah,
Lucas was on the last show where we talked about that. Game show.
And then, much to our dismay, what will happen is we record this generally Monday nights. Tuesday, the next article will come out, and then we'll talk about that next week, which I think is fine.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is.
That's
what
a
it is.
stew
just
what
funny.
the units do in our mind.
Yeah, there you go. Let it stew a little, get a rapid reactions article out. You can check out our blog, thefifthtrooper.com/blog.
And for those of you,
Jay?
I don't know. I don't think so, but just go to thefifthtrooper.com and click on blog at the top. You'll be fine. But and for those of you saying, hey, why should I read your rapid reaction article and also listen to you react on the podcast? And the reason is because it's completely different people reacting to it, and I don't read the articles, so I don't know what they said. So I have my own unique take on it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I'll have I don't even look at these. I don't even read the article until we talk about it on this podcast, because I want you guys. That's what I do for you out there in podcast land.
We're getting the hottest of hot takes.
Yeah, I give you my natural reactions.
Yeah.
I'm committed to this role.
Yeah. Well, that's comforting. I'm going to make sure that there's some typos in the next one, just to see if you notice. Yeah.
I don't read them.
Yeah.
It shows in your record.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what that means. I'm still in.
All right. Yeah. We are gonna talk about Invader, which you just alluded to. Do a little Invader update. We'll hit some other random miscellaneous topics. We will definitely get to the Force user, how to build a list around a Force user topic soon. Maybe today. Hopefully today.
Yeah. I cannot confirm nor deny whether we'll be talking about Force user armors at the end of this cast.
Yeah. But first, housekeeping.
Oh, that's me. Yeah. So let's see, what do we got going on? Today we announced a brand new product. That was Monday, whatever the date is, the 23rd. And we are doing sleeves, and they're specifically designed for Legion players. So basically it's going to be a set of 19. You're going to get 7 command hand sleeves, 4 for each of the battlefield cards, objective, deployment, and conditions, and they're uniquely designed and developed for the Legion players. So I'm really excited about that. And we're actually they're on Dragon Shield sleeves, so the quality is really good. Lucas was mentioning before the cast he's an old Magic player, as am I, and Dragon Shield's like the primo Magic sleeves, so we're bringing those to Legion.
Yeah, they've been around forever, and I haven't played Magic in 3 years, so maybe this has changed. But Dragon Shield is the only one that has printed sleeves where the printing doesn't come off. They print it directly onto their sleeve and then like laminate over it.
Yeah.
Typically, when you have stuff on sleeves, if you played any card games, like the back is a sticker and it peels off as you go. Dragon Shields aren't like that. They're fully matte. They're thick. So when I heard they're those, I was like, dang, like those are the cream de la crop.
Yeah, I'm excited. It was fun designing it was I was talking to Jeremy and maybe some of you guys, and was just like, it would be really nice to have sleeves that like represented the battlefield cards, like that seems to be missing. And as much as we all love our sleeves, like it's funny how not many of us use clear sleeves, right? We always use ones with printed backs. And so so that kind of came from that idea. And I was bouncing around like more complex products, like a turn 0 board or something like that, and I'm like, well, that's dumb, we'll just do sleeves. And just, because I couldn't figure out how you would have space for that on your table, and etc. So we have those. We're not doing a pre-order or anything with those. I have like a wish list up right now, and then we're just gonna start selling them here in about a week. Then also we've got order tokens that are on pre-order right now. That was a team up with myself and Lumberjack Nick for all the designs on that, which I'm really excited about. Those look amazing. I'm going to be sending out an email to everyone too, but we have a little bit of an update on mats. June 3rd-ish is when they're supposed to be arriving. So that is next Friday. So probably closer to the 6th or 7th. I'm sorry. I know we said May. I don't control the seas or the ports, and they control me. So that's where we're at. Sorry for all of you that it's been delayed, and I know a lot of people have had their pre-orders since March, but it is what it is. I can't control any of that. So those will be in. Again, for those of you haven't been paying attention, Stormtide is in season 2, and we're on a 2-month hiatus right now, so that everybody can catch up and get caught up before we continue moving, which will be in July. We've got a brand new writer who's going to be writing for us for Stormtide, and I saw his first kind of like he called it a skeleton or an outline of what he wants to do, and it's pretty great. So I'm really excited about that, and we'll pick that back up in July, and we're gonna have store kits, and I think, and then Patreon. Hey, if you like the writers or the podcast or any of the content that you get for free, or even if you don't like the writers, you know what, just support us on Patreon anyways, because we're awesome. I mean, I don't know, like, I don't care if you like the writers or not, you should still support us on Patreon, and because you like the podcast, because you're listening right now. And so even if you don't like Lucas but you really like me and Kyle, support us on Patreon. I think that's it for now. Just one last thing, I've been alluding to this, but I'm really excited. We've made some investments into the Fifth Trooper business here. And so you're going to see several new innovative products coming out in the next couple of months that I am super, super excited about. And we're hoping to just take it to the next level and just really make, our whole mission is to make the gaming experience great, whether that's through content that you learn how to play and tactics you can take home, or whether it's through product that makes your life easier, like these sleeves or, the order tokens or the sidebars. And so we're going to continue that. We've got some new products that we're going to be launching here pretty soon that I'm very excited about. And I think all of you at home will be excited about them as well. So I more really cool stuff to come in the next couple months, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, and we've mentioned it in relative to our tools before, but like all of these products are designed by Legion players for Legion players. So like every time Jay posts one of these, I'm like, yes, I want that. That's the thing that we need.
Yeah, I always just a little inside baseball for everybody at home. I always share everything with the Fifth Trooper team just to I like to just get the read of the room and see where everybody's at. And I know we're on to something when everyone's like, could you just set some aside for me right now? And so
Yeah.
So I'm don't worry. I mean, at the end of the day, and I've said this before, it's just stuff that I'm like, oh, you know what I really want? I'm like, okay, I'll just make it. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm sure everybody would want this. So why don't we just make it for everyone now? So that's how everything happens. So
yep. It'd be awesome. Card sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let's make those.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. What else is awesome? Mandalorian Super Commandos. I almost said Mauldalorians.
Mauldalorians. Are they super cool?
They are super. I mean, they certainly look cool. Have you guys seen these
The sculpts are amazing.
Like they've got like the pointy maul horn things. You can their color scheme is red and black with a million different designs on them. I am curious to see if sort of like Maul himself, some of these are like textured on there. It's kind of hard to tell from the sculpts. If they're not, then whoever painted these did a really ridiculously good job with the highlights. I'm trying to like zoom enhance here. It looks like they are not textured, which is going to make this a little bit of an extra challenge for painting.
There's some crazy good freehand going on here.
Yeah. But man, the poses on these, they're very similar to the Mandalorian Resistance, which I guess is appropriate, right? Because it's essentially the same. But yeah, you've got the dudes flying with the jetpacks. You actually have like the flames out some of the back jetpack things. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to having these guys. But let's talk about what they actually do.
Okay.
We can do that now.
We got the rules.
Yeah. Lucas, you want to hit us with a unit card?
Sounds good. So they are 75 points based cost. They have the little Shadow Collective hand thing in the top left corner. So I believe they're only going to be able to be run in the Shadow Collective Battle Force. They have 3 minis similar to the other Mandalorians, 1 health per model, surging red saves similar to the other Mandos, 2 courage, impervious, jump 2. So all of that is exactly the same as the other Mandos, but they start to switch up once you get into their keywords. So first they have defend 1, which for you guys who don't remember what that keyword does, after issued an order, you gain a dodge token. But they also have independent aim 1, which is if you do not get an order issued to you, you gain 1 aim token. So it's kind of cool dichotomy of when you are ordering them around, they're more defensive. When you're not ordering them around, they're a little more offensive and do some more damage. And these Mandalorians, they start to also differentiate themselves when it comes to their weapon profiles. They do not surge on offense, but they have 2 black dice in melee with their combat expertise. They have at range 1 to 2, the West Star 35 blaster pistol, which is 2 blacks, range 1 to 2. And then they also have a range 1 to 3, was that Galar 15 blaster carbine, which is a black and a white. And so these Mandos are pretty well rounded, right? They're not limited to just range 2. Having a black and a white per model at range 3 is a, you know, respectable range 3 pool. So these guys seem really awesome. They're a bit more flexible in some ways. They have defend, independent, aim. They're not so deep into the whole nimble side. But yeah, I like them base. They seem like a very slight upgrade over the other Mandos, which is probably why they're just a few more points.
Yeah, it's hard to say because ways in which they're better than the other Mandos. There's really 2 like super important clear ones there. The first is that they get free tokens, right? Whether it's a dodge or an aim. And then the second is the range 3 attack pool. But they're also notably objectively worse in some ways. The biggest one is that they don't surge hit like the Rebel Mandos do. So
they are weaker at range 2.
Yes, at range, like significantly. You know, 2 black with no surge is quite a bit different than 2 black with surge. But they can shoot at range 3, you know, so that's pretty big for a unit that is, you know, don't make no mistake, these guys are fragile for what you're paying for them. You're paying 75 points for a unit with 2 wounds, or around 100 points for a unit with 4 wounds, which is a lot for a bunch of single wound minis, even though they have impervious and a red surging save. So yeah, that range 3 is big, but they don't surge hit, so they don't hit quite as hard once they're at range 2, and they also don't have nimble. So, you know, if they get shot multiple times, you know, they're not going to be as durable.
Yeah, these guys have a slew of potential upgrades you could take on them. They have heavy weapon, training, comms, equipment, grenades, and an armament. So just every kind of upgrade in the game besides command and force upgrades. And they have a lot of new unique options that come along with it. One of the first ones is a unique gear option just for these commandos. It's the Super Commando Combat Shield. And it's just for these Mandalorian Super Commandos, and you gain Shielded 2, which gives you 2 shield tokens. One thing I want to point out is you only gain Shielded 2. You have no way of regenerating those shields. So it's just a flat 2 shields you can use over the course of the game, which is a little different than any other previous shield upgrades you've seen, right? Sabine, she's able to recover. And same with the BX droid shield as well. So these guys are like the destroyer, or what I call droidicas, where recoveries don't recover their shields, except they don't have that passive generator like a droidica does.
Yeah, the Decas have the passive regen of the shield. Yeah, it's just straight 2 shield tokens. I don't know. What do you guys think of this upgrade?
It seems a little expensive for what it does to me.
Yeah, I suppose. Okay, so Kyle, I mean, it's kind of emerging a theme, right? Is a lot of, we talked about this, whatever episode, I don't know, man. One of these episodes that we did where we were like, hey, if you put all these in, like, look at how many dodges you get. And this kind of falls in that same line, right? But they have defend 1, plus you could also have shielded 2 on them. So in reality, you could, you're getting rid of like three hits before, you know, they even get to a unit, and so before you're even rolling dice, which I think is kind of in theme with the rest of all the mercenaries, right? There's a lot of dodge spam going on in these armies, and that's, you know, this isn't exactly dodge spam, but it's close, you know, with the shielded 2, and feels on theme. 10 points seems excessive for that. I don't know that I would ever pay that, but you know, it's on theme, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, the BX droids have shielded 2 and recharge 2, and it's 18 points for that. So essentially it's 8 points less than you don't get the recharge.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, and I didn't mean, sorry. I'm not knocking the price as in, I think it's overcosted or under. I just looking at that, I wouldn't build them out with that. You know what I mean?
It seems to be like just over that price point, where you're like, yeah, this seems okay. This seems decent.
Yeah.
The effect is quite good on a unit like this that is very fragile and relies on saves. But 10 points is It's a lot.
I think you could make an argument that maybe you want it for like high velocity snipers, right?
Yeah.
They're usually just getting one thing through, and having 2 shields is probably enough to block those 2 high velocity shots at you. Because the reason why I think it's kind of redundant is you already have defend, so you could put situational awareness on these guys if you really wanted to. Might be a little too expensive for that, but like having that to block high velocity is kind of nice. Then you don't need situational awareness too, because if you need to block a crit, you can use your shield instead of your dodge.
Yep.
Well, and I suppose too, and we're gonna, like I said, this is the first time I'm looking at this stuff. So when we talk about the heavy unit, the heavy mini upgrades, right? There's one of them that is another dodge, adds more dodge tokens potentially. So, you could, if you're using these as a highly aggressive team that's running up with Maul, maybe you do take the shields, and then you could have up to 4 to 5, I think, based on some
4
stuff.
shots.
Yeah. And then get within range 2 and just start murdering things. So, but okay, yeah, I mean, we could get to, when we get to those, people know what we're talking about. But yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know.
We'll see. It seems like maybe an option if you got spare points. Right, these guys are pretty fragile with only a few models, so it's nice to keep their health up longer.
Sure.
Right, since each model you use in a small model count unit, they lose a lot of efficacy once they start taking damage.
Right.
So maybe it's worth the 10 points to make them last a little longer.
So they don't hit as hard, but in reality, and we talk about this more, if you were going to run these guys like you would run, let's say, Wookiees, if you put that one heavy upgrade, which we'll talk about, the shield on, and then you have their defend, you're looking at like 12 health. So it's, with the dot, including the dodges and the shield, right? And so, I mean, yeah, maybe.
Let's talk about Rook when we get to her, because I think she's super interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's hit you want to hit the jetpack rockets next?
Yeah, sure. So they haven't. Oh, go for it, Jay.
No, please, Lucas. I mean, clearly you're vying for position here and you want to take over. Please go ahead.
You got listed off second, so I get to read the cards.
All right, fine.
We have for their armament another unique upgrade just for these Mandos. It's the Super Commando jetpack rockets. It's range 4 only, and it gives you blast, critical 1, and impact 1. So this is very similar to the other jetpack rockets, except you do have critical on this, and I believe the other rockets are 3 to 4. Let me double check that. Yeah, the other rockets are 3 to 4.
Yep.
So it's a little different. I think if this was range 3, it'd be kind of amazing because you could put it in there with your rifle attack.
Yeah, add blast to the range 3 rifle pool.
Yeah,
I'm sure that is the reason that it's not range 3 to 4.
Yeah. But at range 4, it's a little better because you have critical 1 on it. So the other Mandos have innate surges. So this gives you'll have critical 4, right? This is on 4 of your models in your unit.
Yep.
So you essentially get surge to crit. So at range 4, it surges to crit, whereas the other one just surges, but it doesn't go to range 3.
Yeah, it seems like the only time that's really going to make a difference, the critical, is if you're dealing with Guardian or like a giant stack of dodges that are not situational awareness dodges.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this is functionally, surge hit, which the Rebel Mandos already do. So because it has blast, so you're ignoring cover anyway, and it has impact 1, so you're already getting maximum hits against armor. So
yeah. I think it's good. I like it as kind of as a armor counter, really. Like to just toss this for 8 points, you're getting, you could potentially get 4 hits through, right? Like, I mean, there's a real solid chance you're gonna get 4 into armor and into like a white
spider, or like an ATRT, just chunk it in half for 1 attack isn't terrible.
Or a sniper strike team, like a speed 3 move plus range 4. You could potentially get a situation where you can see both models and your opponent thought they were hidden, and you're ignoring low profile with that blast. So
even getting this through on an ATST, is going to make your as a reformed ATST player. You get 4 hits through it that I don't block. I'm starting to think about things a little bit differently as far as how I'm playing. So for 8 points, it's a real it can be a real swing swing component to your army. So
yeah, I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if it's as much of a must take as the rockets are on the other Mandos, because you still have a range 3 attack. I think people often take the rockets on the other Mandos because you want to have another attack on their approach. So I don't think you necessarily have to, because you can shoot at range 3, which is still pretty useful, right? You're not forced to go in deep with range 2. But rockets are still in a good spot for all the reasons we just listed.
Yep.
There's also a new comms upgrade that comes with this, emergency transponders. It is 4 points. When you activate, if you're activated with an order token from the order pool, gain 1 aim token, 1 dodge token, or remove 1 suppression token. And this has the little X on it, so you're only going to get to use this once.
This is a pretty neat effect for 4 points.
Yeah.
There are not a lot of units with comm slots that this would be. Let's just say that, like, on vehicles, I feel like this competes with like targeting array, which is only 1 more point, and it gets you an aim token every time you get an order. Whereas this is,
So I'd like to propose something now. This wasn't my idea. This was my buddy Jeremy and I were think tanking this. Okay. And we said, what if, you put up close and personal and emergency transponder on Tauntauns, and they have the agile one. And so now, because usually sometimes you don't pull them from your stack. So now you move, dodge, shoot, dodge, move again, dodge, and then if you pulled it from the stack, you'd have another dodge. So you could have 4 dodges on your Tauntauns.
Yeah, I mean it seems that's kind of an expensive Tauntaun.
But
yeah, I don't know. I mean, and you could even take Tauntauns can take situational awareness.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be kind of, that would be a certainly difficult to kill Tauntaun for that one specific turn.
Well, and that's
which sometimes is all you need.
Right. And so like it was just something because we're always talking about, like, and I think we might talk a little bit about this today, but like, why are certain units not being used? And is there a real problem, or is it just a perceived issue? And then we brought up Tauntauns, and we were like, okay, what if you put these 2 new things on the Tauntauns? Now they've got 4 dodges, so that's good. And seems kind of interesting now, and brings them back to the forefront of my mind of like, oh man, because I've been thinking about Tauntauns a lot lately, probably for like the last 6 to 8 months, going, they're still good. Like, and trying to like figure out lists, and I'm like, well, now with this, I don't know, maybe this is what would help them, and spam some dodge on those Tauntauns. Anyways, and I think as new stuff like this comes out, it's just, man, it just makes this game so much better. I'm just so happy, like, that I can think about that, and go, oh, what if we put this on Tauntauns? Like, what? Why am I talking about that right now? Like, that's how great this is,
Yeah, I think this is really interesting on trooper units that you generally pull from the stack that also natively have a comm slot. So that's like B2s, right? Especially because they don't have a training slot for offensive push. So you could give this 4 points to B2 unit to get an aim or dodge. Not that you really care about the suppression in that situation. Somebody like Boba, Boba has what, 2 training slots? No, he doesn't have a comm slot, does he?
I don't know if he has a comm slot.
Never mind.
Yeah, I think he has 2 trainings and 2 gear.
Cad Bane is the one with the comm slot. Yeah. Yeah, he could use it because he's only got the 1 training slot. Like, do the comm slot for this thing, and then you can use his training slot for duck and cover or something instead of offensive push or hunter. It's
also great for, I just focused on the dodge keywords, but the aim, the suppression, like anything that needs those that you're not giving orders to, this is gonna or I think what this does too, and this is coming from someone who's playing a list that is particular about who's getting orders when. I think this also helps you not feel as bad when you're like, okay, you're not getting an order this turn, but you're going to get something or remove a suppression, so it's a nice consolation prize for those units.
BX commandos.
Yeah. I was going to say like a full commando squad. Yeah. I feel like might like this because often you're not giving BX commandos an order. And this way you could just move and then get a name.
Yeah. Yep. Magnas in case they needed more tokens, because they don't usually fill that comp slot with anything. Let's see what other interesting trooper units have a comp slot. I'm just like trolling through Legion HQ here. Wookiees sadly mortars comp slot. Mortars. I mean, mortars can take LTA.
Yeah, that's
usually. So.
And I guess that depends on the list, right? Because a lot of times you're giving it to the shore trooper, which is given in order to the mortar, but maybe in your list you're not giving them orders and you want them to have an aim, or you want them to, I don't know, maybe just trying to think.
I think the thing with mortars, and the reason that you don't see them with LTA is like, they have cumbersome, right? Mm-hmm. So if they're shooting, that means they're not moving, and that means they don't usually have anything better to do except aim and then shoot. And they only have 3 dice, so 2 aims is kind of overkill on them. But
strike teams.
I could see it on strike teams.
Yeah. For the aim.
For the move shoot aim.
Yeah.
I could see this on like ISF for your non-attack strike turn.
Yeah, for like turn 2.
Pathfinders with Biston.
Yep.
So you can use that training slot for duck and cover. I feel like this could be really just, we just listed a bunch of units, but basically like any unit where either you don't have a training slot or you want to fill your training slot with something else and you have a comp slot. This could be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I
like it. I like this a lot.
Yeah, me too.
I think it fills the theme of a lot of stuff in this Shadow Collective wave, that it doesn't seem like an auto include anywhere, but there's tons of options that are really interesting.
Yeah, agreed. All right, should we hit the heavies for these super commandos?
Let's hit the heavies. Lucas, by all means.
I was gonna say you've been jumping the gun on Rook Cast. I'll let you read it if you want.
It's a good thing it's my cast. I can do whatever I want.
There you go.
You have my permission, Jay.
Oh, good. Why don't we split them? I'll do the first 2 and you can do the second 2, pal. So the first one is a Mandalorian Super Commando. You gain Cash Surge 2. That's pretty cool for 24 points. So basically it's just an extra dude or lady, and for 24 points you can get that Cash Surge 2, which is, it's interesting. I don't know. Maybe it depends on your list build, I suppose. The next one is a Super Commando Gunslinger, range 1 to 2, 2 black, 2 white, and lethal 1, and that one's 30 points. The other one was 24.
It's the fact that this is range 2.
Yeah.
The dice are good. Like at range 2, you get 2 extra white dice basically over what you would normally get from an extra model. And lethal's good. I think mostly here you're paying for lethal.
Yeah.
And you're going to be using this with the independent aim.
Mm-hmm.
It could be good if you're, like clearly being limited to range 2 is not great for these guys. Because I think their real strength relative to the other Mandos, as we mentioned, is the fact that they can engage at range 3.
They still can shoot at range 3, right? These guys, it's not sidearm, so you can still do 4 black, 4 white at range 3, which is not amazing, but not terrible.
Yep.
This is so picky, and I'm so sorry, everybody. I just don't like the name because
I know
it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't, because they don't have the gunslinger keyword,
or it doesn't shoot 4 black, which would be 2 of that. Like it just none of it makes any. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, he's shooting wildly,
Sure.
You lose accuracy, so one of
You
those black
do.
dice become a white when you're dual wielding.
All right, but he's
Shooting a pistol with two
okay.
hands is a lot easier than shooting it with one hand.
Yeah, there's two other upgrades also.
yes.
If you don't like that
Yeah.
close range, we got the Super Commando Marksman, who has a gun from range 1 to 3, is also 30 points. And the weapon has a red dice, a black dice, and a white dice. And you gain precise 1. This seems pretty sweet. All right, you're
Yeah.
going to have 4 blacks, a red, and 4 whites, and precise 1 for that independent aim.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a pretty nice, solid
that's-
range 3 dice pool.
That's a hard hit in range 3.
Well,
Yeah,
you're probably going to be getting open shots because these guys have jump and a speed 3 move.
Yep.
Mhm.
And if you didn't get them in order, you'll have that aim. Like Lucas, did you say that? Yeah. So, yeah.
This is really interesting. I like this one a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that they have this profile because I find with the Rebel Commandos, you often want to take one of the unique upgrades if you're going to take them, and then if you're doing that, you're typically just taking Clan Rens. You don't often see people running more than one of them. But I think with an upgrade like this, you could easily run a few Maul Super Commandos and justify it somewhere.
Mhm.
And last but certainly not least, we have Rook Cast. This is a unique upgrade because she is a named character. And she has 2 health. She's 35 points. Mandalorian Super Commandos only, range 1 to 2, 2 reds, 2 whites. You gain Retinue Maul, and she is your leader. So this is what Jay was talking about, where if you put Rook Cast in here along with situational awareness and follow Maul around on the table, you're gonna have 2 dodges every single turn to spend. And like a pretty deadly range 2 profile, right? That's 6 blacks, 2 reds, 2 whites for grand total 10 dice, majority which are red or black.
Yeah, and I
seems
mean,
good.
again, sorry, go ahead, Lucas.
I was saying it feels just like a sidekick to kind of fall around Maul and beat stuff up. And if you shoot these guys, they got a ton of dodges, and you're not shooting Maul. So like you're shooting Maul, which letting these guys run rampant, and if you're letting these, like, they're still a formidable dice pool on their own. So it kind of feels like they make a double threat if you run them alongside Maul in this loadout, and you can fit them into a 10 activation list with Rook, 6 pikes, and 2 pike capos and operative Maul.
Yep, you definitely can.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, you could technically, because if you're putting her in here, right, their attacks, you're going to want to get into that range too. So you could put up close and personal on them as well, and now you can you get a dodge from that as well. So you would have the dodge from the order, another dodge from being 1 to 2 from Maul. You'd have the shield, so there's 4, and then after you move in to shoot, you could then get up close personal dodge and have 5 dodges between not dodges, but 2 shields, 3 dodges. And so now they can get close, and you could almost leave them in the open and they would be all right. Yeah. So
yeah, you're suddenly that's a unusually durable Mandalorian unit.
Yeah.
It is an expensive one. That'd be, I think, for what you rattled off, about 125 points.
yeah, I think I just
roughly.
Okay,
So,
God, no, not roughly, exactly 125 points. Yeah, man, you're so good with the math. Good for you.
That's what I do. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's expensive. I like the one thing that is interesting to me about Rook, in contrast to like Clan Ren, if you're comparing to another retinue Mandalorian unit, is that it is less wounds overall because you're adding Rook, who is a 2 wound model, to a 3 wound unit, which is 5 instead of 6 for Clan Ren. But it's 4 models instead of 3. So, the dice pool is, and she has 4 dice. So you're talking about 8 dice instead of, I guess it's 7 for Clan Ren, right? No, you're talking about 10 dice. Sorry.
10 dice.
10 dice versus 7, which is a pretty substantial difference. And if you take the rockets, the jetpack rockets, which usually you don't take on Clan Ren because it's only 3 red dice, you're talking about 4 red dice. So, it's a little bit less durable than Clan Run for like roughly the same cost, but significantly harder hitting from an offensive perspective. So,
and I think if you're popping in and out of cover, since unlike Clan Run, you don't have nimble, so multiple shots, right? Your dodges will slowly deteriorate. But I do think on a mobile unit, they're gonna have orders on. I kind of prefer having 2 dodges just for the turn, because you can throw them both into a single shot. Because if you're giving them orders, they might just be, you go second to last before Maul. They have one person shoots you, you dodge both. The next turn, you give them another order. Now they have their 2. You go with Maul first and then them. So it kind of works out nicely if they can follow up Maul and just like tank a shot while Maul is getting that last first, and they can be like a pseudo last first protected by their 4 dodges.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little awkward with the way that independent and defend work out here, with getting the dodge on the order and getting the aim token on the not order. Because you could, in theory, you could run like improvised orders and kind of reverse sort your bag, and then when they're in the bag, that's generally a turn where you want to go last with them, because you could throw them back with improvised orders, right?
Okay.
But if you're giving them an order, that means usually you're going first with them, and then that dodge is going to be less useful than if they're like sitting in your stack. So I don't know, it's kind of interesting. And Maul only has 3 cards that give another unit an order?
I think it's only 2.
No, because Phantom Menace gives another unit an order if you don't divulge it.
Oh yeah.
So it's Phantom Menace and his new 2-pip and his new 3-pip. But that's only 3 turns, that you're gonna have orders on them. So you're gonna want like some kind of backup plan. But yeah. I mean, I think these could be really interesting run alongside Maul. Very comparable in my opinion to Clan Run, and Clan Run is a thing that is good and run, unlike the generic Rebel Mandalorians. So and that's largely because of retinue. So
I think Rook, like you said, really parallels. I think that these might have a chance to see generics though, since they have that range 3 profile. And the Super Commando Marksman is just great value, right? Having a 9 dice pool at range 3 behind this kind of armor and mobility is pretty sweet.
For sure. And if you take Rook, it's not like you're obligated to shoot at range 2. Like you can still throw 8 dice at range 3.
Yep.
So
I like it.
Me intrigued.
Yeah.
All right. I think that rounds out our Mauldalorians.
So they look sweet and look fun.
Yeah, they do. I'm very excited to paint them, and they also look pretty good on the table. So, all right. Next on the docket, we got Rocky Top.
Yeah,
Jay, that's this weekend, right?
It is. Yeah, it's Saturday and Sunday. I'm excited about it. I know they had 60. I think it's less than that because I've seen some people dropping out due to various reasons. But I think it's going to be like around 55 probably at the end of the day, which is exciting for a tournament in Tennessee. That last year had 12 people. So yeah, it's really exciting. It's being hosted by the Stabcast team, which is very cool. Ryan and Ben and Tim and all those guys are going to be putting the tournament on, which I'm sure it'll be a great tournament because Ryan's really good at that. And they're great dudes. I'm looking forward to going down. It's gonna be great. It'll be a good tournament to go to. I think unfortunately they have to do that 5-round thing just because of time, and it's just, I don't blame them for it. It sucks. And I know we talked about that with Kanto, right? And we almost ran into the problem that we foresaw, right? And that could happen at this one too, which is if you're 4-0 going into the last game, and if you lose, you
it's possible that you could have just one person that is undefeated,
right?
And then you still have an extra round to play.
Right.
And then you get
And
a
that's-
situation where like
yeah.
if that person loses the pair down, they could actually end up like 6th or something based on
Didn't we see
tiebreakers.
that at what was it called? Was it Lone
Dallas
Star?
Open.
Dallas
Dallas
Open.
Open. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Where the top 8 were all 4-1. So yeah, I mean, yeah. Because in at Kanto, it didn't. I mean, John won, but John was the only undefeated in going into round 4 or 5 or whatever it was. So luckily John won, but I mean, he could have not, and we could have had a bunch of 4-1s and all vied for top place, and so it's unfortunate because it's just because of how much time you have, and because most of these are Sunday matches, and it's hard to get that full time spread for Sunday, and it's not guaranteed that you're going to have an undefeated, so you can't bank on that either. It's just a tough place to be in,
it's awkward.
Yeah, but it's great. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. Come say hi if you're down there, not while I'm playing, but after, because I'm taking this serious, and
he's a sweaty competitive player now.
I'm coming to win, so don't bother me while I'm winning, you nerds. No, it's fine. You can come up and say hi to me. I don't care. I may not be as friendly, but I'll say hi. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be great. I don't know. I'm interested. I have no idea what lists are gonna look like. I think they're gonna be all over the place just because it's kind of a fun tournament, and I think that there's no invites on the line, so I fully expect there to be a wild variety of lists, which is exciting because you get to face stuff you've never faced before in a kind of fun tournament, right? It's still a tournament, you still want to win, but if you're going to have to face anything crazy, you'd want to do it when nothing's really on the line except for your pride.
Yep.
So yeah, it'll be a good warm up. I'm excited about that. And then trying to think what else. Yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm really excited.
Hearing about it next week.
Yeah, I will tell you all about it for sure. Really not looking forward to the drive. Other than that, everything's great.
How far of a drive is that for you?
It's like 13 hours.
Yeah, that's far.
Ooh. I mean, it's about the same as Chicago was. So
yeah,
that's how much I care about Legion, folks. 12 hours worth. Less than 15.
Well, we wish you luck.
Yeah, thanks. I'm excited.
Bring it home.
Yeah, I'll do my best. Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm hitting this one, and then we're doing Nova at the end of the summer, which I'm really excited about too. So
it's gonna be a lot of people in Nova.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I'm getting jealous of all these events. Since I'll be moving soon, I will not be able to attend any of these. Once I do get to Europe, though, they have a ton of events. So after 2 months, I'll be able to tell you about all the fun stuff I'm doing. But hearing about all these things in the next 2 months, getting just a little bit jealous.
Yeah, you're gonna be our European correspondent.
Yeah, the boots on the ground.
Along with HEST.
That's right. So yeah, we'll have a UK correspondent and we'll have a German correspondent.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like I gotta go and rep North America because I think I'll be one of the few people who is on the North American ELO boards, and will be on the European ELO boards eventually. So I feel like I gotta go out there and work hard to prove that the NA bracket is strongest.
Dude, good luck.
I know.
The Germans are real good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get wrecked, and that's be the opposite. They'll be
we're all counting on you, Lucas.
Yeah.
Jawohl.
Yeah. All right. Should we talk briefly about Invader?
Yeah.
So I have an update, right? Since I haven't been here in a bit.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
I care, Jay. I care. So I'm in single elims for the West Coast, aka the Best Coast, along with Timbo and John Bushman, who are both over here. And so the first round has completed, And I'm not sure, John was on last time, but he hadn't played his game yet. So I guess I can talk about John's game also. So out of the three of us, Timbo and myself moved on, and John Bushman was beat in the first round of 16 in the West Coast. And I have to give a little shout out to Darth Vader. He is a local guy at my local store. So us here in Southern California, Orange County, seem to be breeding some great players. He was in the group with Snyder, so he knocked out last year's Invader champion to get in here. And now John Bushman, another world-class player. So I was rooting for both of them in that game, but have to give a little shout out when it's, one of your local guys coming out here taking out all the champions. And then Timbo also won his game. He won it was a draw on points, and then he won on points killed against Flawed Zombie on Rebels. And then I also won my game, drew on points against a Rebel player. For those of you who haven't been keeping up, I've been playing the Iden 333 with dewbacks instead of bikes, kind of like Luke Cook's list, but one less activation with 3 dewbacks. And I was playing JD Nielsen, and he was doing the Rebel SA gunline, but with Sabine and Clan Ren in it. And the way the game shook out was he had the bid. He picked red player to pick his preferred table side. And then also because Tac Strike likes to deploy as late as possible, so I have more time to maneuver. So by taking red, he prevents me from getting the last deployment. The way it panned out was it was major offensive, payload, and clear conditions. And we each put our payloads in the center area, and the terrain was in like the back corner. So we each were going to be going across in different directions from one another. And right off the bat, I was able to get, he had sabotage communications, which is something important I should also mention. I'm playing the Tac Strike list.
Very good
and
against tactical strike.
Yeah, playing as tactical strike. Sabotage. It
Yeah.
makes it so I only get to issue one order. So in that case, I'd have to pick either Iden or one ISF to be able to do Tac Strike. But on turn 1, I was able to get a cheeky pulse scan out with Iden and one shot a sniper that I could see both models with. So I was able to deploy Iden after a sniper, get an angle where I could just barely see both. And then my hope was I was threatening for Tac Strike, so I knew he had to play sabotage communications, and then he also could clearly see I was going to try and hit that sniper. Won the roll off, so that got me an activation ahead. And then on turn 2, was able to play Tac Strike. And I know a lot of people have been kind of down on dewbacks because they'll say, oh, dewbacks don't do enough damage at range, or they're not deadly enough in melee. I think this game was a good example of how dewbacks can be really good at just like zoning and playing passively. Because essentially, since he had the dodge spam, most of the game I was just shooting with Iden and Del Miko, and the dewbacks were just like sitting behind line of sight blockers, blocking his approach. And so on payload, since I was blue player and up on kill points, he had to come to me. And the dewbacks didn't do a whole lot of damage, but they really screened his army. And then on turns 5, 6, closed the gap and went in. But it was a fun game if you want to see some passive dewbacks, because people always like the peekaboo. I talk nonstop about peekabooing with dewbacks. So you do is they're relentless. So you move forward, take your shot, and then you move back behind a line of sight blocker. And people are always hating on it. It's like, oh, it doesn't do much damage. You might get 1 to 2, 3 over the course of the game. The point isn't so much the damage potential. It's the fact that like you can have a dewback safely sitting behind a line of sight blocker, blocking an important approach and get some value. Plus a suppression or something. So I think it's pretty huge. Blood Ocean Bobby casted the game, and his Twitch channel is, I believe, Blood Ocean Legion, if you guys want to check that out. But it's a really fun one. My next round is against Droid's Rule, which he's the one that knocked me out of Invader League last season. So I'm having PTSD to when his Sabine blew up literally 2/3 of my entire army in one activation. So he's still playing Sabine. So he messaged me on Discord that we were playing each other. I was like, oh no, I still have PTSD to those explosions. So hopefully I learned my lesson, and this time I won't let him kill, literally my entire army with explosions. But we'll see. It should be a good matchup. He's a solid player.
God, explosions is such a great card.
It is.
And
yeah,
for like so many reasons, like what Lucas is talking about, like getting the explosion off and getting 2 hits on like 5 different units is amazing. But also people are so scared of it. of it happening. And when they know you have Sabine, they're like, oh, I can't. Okay. Like I literally hear people talking out loud going, I can't you got explosions for sure. Like I can't do that. That's crazy. And it's just like, just being able to be in their head without even like saying anything is the best gift of Legion Christmas I could ever have. No, that's great, Lucas. I'm really excited. It's been nice too that none of us are really in each other's way. So, you know, there's not a lot of team kills. Like, so Evan Paul is in the North America East, but he is literally on the opposite end of the bracket as I am. So like the only way we face each other is if we both make it to the finals in our bracket, which is nice. That's a nice little like way out, right? Like, so but yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's super nice that there's potential for us all to see each other at Worlds. I think that would be the ideal. Timbo has to play LJ, aka Talk Polite, in his next game, so he's also got a tough one coming up. Yeah. LJ is a longtime player. I think he was at Worlds with you, Kyle, way back in the day. So we all have a tough road ahead of us, but on the West Coast bracket, since it's a little smaller than the East Coast, Timbo and I each just have to win one more game, and then we are in for Worlds. So
yeah, I mean, listen, you know, there's no easy way forward for me. That we got Dash is in East. We've got that's Mike Dashes, who used to be on here. He's in the East bracket. Luke Cook is in the East bracket. Evan Paul's in the East bracket.
Beast Coast.
Yeah, so there's still a lot of tough opponents in the East Coast one. But I mean, this is, I think, and once you pass round robin in the first set of elims, I don't even think the first set of elims is an easy game. There are no easy games. So you know, anyone who's made it this far and anyone who hasn't and who has lost in the eliminations, you still did great. Like making it to eliminations is a huge thing. So congratulations to everyone. Not those who didn't make it to elims, though. Not congratulations to you guys. I'm just kidding.
Hey, if you made to the elims, you get to say you made it and Kyle didn't. So that's something, right?
Yep, there you go.
I'm gonna say it every cast. Yes, you did better than Kyle this year in Invader.
Yeah.
This
you're
guy.
like, yeah, it's great. We're not in each other's way. You know who's in nobody's way?
Kyle.
Yeah. All right.
It's I say though, it I don't know about you guys, but like I don't know how this is for a lot of people out there. I feel like it might be opposite. I'm more nervous and nerve-wracked in Invader League online games than I am in in-person games. I am a much cooler, like chiller, like relaxed, I got this kind of attitude in real life I question everything when I'm playing an Invader League game. Like I don't know why. It's just it freaks me out way more.
I feel like I'm kind of the opposite. Like on Invader League, since I have perfect info, I feel like I'm way more confident in my choice because like I'll just throw it on the range band and I can see everything. I'm like, all right, that's exactly where I want. Whereas in person, I like move someone and then be like, am I thinking about all the right angles? Who's potentially in range? Like there's no one sitting behind this piece of terrain I'm not thinking about.
Yeah.
I find that also being able to like get down super low and measure stuff, I just feel like I have more complete information. But I came from a background of doing a lot of like esports stuff. So I think I also am just more comfortable on a computer than a lot of people for Legion. Because I think most people probably have more of a board gaming background than, you know, computer gaming. So it might just come from that. Yeah, I'm comfortable with the mouse and keyboard.
Well, I think too, it's a difference in who we are as people. You guys are both mathematicians, right, at heart, and so you're both very good at math and perfect. Like you're talking about perfect information. Like I don't think I've ever used that phrase, and so like I thrive in the chaos, right, of the real life. Like I want you questioning whether you're going to do that move or not, right? What scares me is the perfect information because that's just not how my brain functions. I'm still a very chaotic player, even though I'm playing more cautiously and more reserved, I'm still just pure chaos when I play. And that does not translate as well into the online perfect information computer game, you know. Oh man,
Yeah, I mean, I think you're selling yourself a little short though. You are technically top 16 for East Coast, so maybe the nerves are what's making you perform so well. You just need to
maybe
bring the nerves with you to the real table.
Perform under pressure.
And can I tell you, I don't know why, and I keep doing this in my head. So any unit that moves speed 3 is like just over, it's like kind of close to range 3 but a little short, right? For a double speed 3 move, it's short, but it's like within,
it's about 2 inches short.
Yeah, it's about 2 inches short. In my head though, I keep thinking that that's one move. So like I like sit there, stare at it for way longer than I should, going, all right, well, I mean, one move is like range 3, so I should be able to get there. And I'm like, wait, the hell are you talking about? That's 2 moves and it's still short. Like, like just like, I don't know why that keeps happening, but in my head, I'm like, Sabine should absolutely be able to get here. And then I'm like looking at it and I'm like measuring it and I'm going, what are you talking about, you idiot? Like it's not even close. I don't know. I get tripped up on weird stuff. Like my brain just like freezes and like I have to do like a hard reset.
Yeah, I had a really bad brain hiccup once. I was playing KP against Darth Vader, actually, the guy who just played against John, and I had it in the bag, and he drove over with his tank on my back KP, and he had no one to contest the middle one, and he had someone on his own. And in my head, for some reason, I was like, oh, he can't contest the middle KP, I win. And I just passed all my dudes. And he's like, my tank is sitting uncontested on your back KP. Because I was way ahead. He had like the tank and a sniper. And I was just like, oh, he can't touch the middle. And I'm way ahead on kill points. So I don't even need to play this out. I just passed it all. And it was like, you do realize you have to kill my tank, but I'd already like taken Vader and been like fooling around. I was like, oh my gosh, what was I like? The tank was just completely overlapping the barricade. That was my KP. So I was like, if I can't see it, it doesn't exist.
Yep. Out there.
I actually did. Go ahead, Cal. Sorry.
Well, that's a common mental mistake on KP, is to just kind of like mentally bank your home KP. And just worry about the middle and be like, yeah, if I can contest the middle at the end of the game, I win. But like you need to claim your home KP.
That's actually in the round robin. That's how I lost the Kodak, because we were playing KP. I was so focused on the middle one, and he just flew a bark back there, killed the snipers that were on it, and then just landed on top of it. I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. I forgot that thing was even coming.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't even thinking about it, you know? Yeah. So yeah, I've done that.
Yeah. Actually,
sometimes at the end of the long day, it's hard.
Yeah.
This is slightly related, mental mistakes. I played a ladder game, the ladder elims game. That is a thing that's not nearly as popular or well known as Invader, but it's a thing that I did for the first time. And I'm playing I basically randomized my list. I'm playing double secret mission with Padme and R2. And it was a situation where I was on hostage, and I got my hostage carrier scoped on the last activation of the game to drop the hostage, but I still won because I scored both Padme and R2's secret missions. So it was one of those situations where, like, any other time, you know, getting your hostage carrier scoped on the last turn is like a death sentence, right? That's game over. Yeah. Because he had scored his hostage, but I'm like, oh, I scored both secret missions. I'm still fine.
Oh my god.
So yeah, double secret mission, pretty good actually. It's the first time I've had Padme make a difference in that respect in a game. But
yeah, but those happen. You know, it's so funny. Like, oh god, those happen to me more in Invader League than they do in real life. I find because of all the information, maybe it's information overload, and I'm just like, like measuring, like, dude, oh god, I don't know. And then, but in real life, I'm just like, yeah, no, this is right. And then I don't know. It's like a different. Unlike you guys, I panic when I get perfect information. And you guys are like, excellent, perfect information, right where I want to be. And I'm like, oh God, what do I do with this? Too much.
The decision
perfect
tree before
information
you
is-
starts panning out, and you're
Yeah,
like,
my brain just explodes.
Yeah, and even perfect information is kind of an illusion because
Yeah.
You don't know what your opponent's going to do, and you're also probably just missing something.
it's also a dice game, so like
right.
there would
Yeah,
never
that's
be
fair.
actual perfect information. Like,
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
real such thing as perfect information.
Yeah.
it's all like fuzzy probabilities. You're like, I could do this, and I probably won't get hurt, so should go for it.
Right.
Yep.
All
right.
Okay.
Well, we definitely don't have time for the fourth user topic. Sorry.
Next week we'll get to it.
Definitely.
Just want to say sorry to
100%.
Force users. We'll have you on next week. We just ran
Yep.
out of time.
Yep. Sorry, Force users. Definitely next week, 100% guaranteed. We'll tee it up for the episode.
Yeah.
And plan to discuss it.
Yep. There's always a plan.
Yeah. All right. You guys got any other thoughts? Any other topics?
No, I'm just really happy. Legion is in such a great place.
It is in a good spot.
And all this stuff from Shadow Collective that's coming out. I mean, I don't know. The
fantastic.
next 6 months are just going to be amazing, and I
Yep.
can't wait. I'm so behind on my paint backlog for
I know,
another.
mine's terrible too.
Oh God.
I've got some short troopers sitting right here in front of me that are sort of like, I mean, that's 3 colors, right?
It's
Ish.
close.
If you squint,
If
Yeah.
you squint. Yeah, it is technically 3 colors. It's just,
white, gray, and black.
Yeah. No, there's actually a little bit of red there. I did a red underspray because
Oh,
the
nice.
bases are going to be red.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, no, I need to actually like paint them so they're not embarrassing. I need to at least paint the guns black,
So
I
why are
had
you
to
painting
paint-
up Imperial models?
What's that?
Why are you painting up all these Imperial models? You got something to tell us?
Oh, well, Empire is my plan A for Atlantic City. We'll see if I successfully get enough painted. I actually, in typical waffling fashion, I made a Facebook poll that quickly got hijacked by Jay. But the overwhelming choice on that poll was Vader, so I'm sure that was not all Jay and his lobbying. As it happens, I already submitted a list with Vader on it. As soon as, literally, I think it was last week or maybe even the week before, as soon as TTO opened, I submitted a Vader list. So
yeah. Kyle, I don't think you could ever do this. I don't think it's possible, but there's something liberating and freeing about just not even thinking about it and just having a list and just committed to a list. Like this Rocky Top thing, I was like, TTO, copy paste, and I just went about my business.
So
There's just so
people
many
forget.
fun things.
I actually did that with
Yeah.
Maul B2s. I played Maul B2s in Invader season 5. I don't remember, 6, 7, or whatever. I don't even know what we're on. Anyway, I played Maul B2s in Invader, and then I played Maul B2s at Atlantic City, and then I played Maul B2s at Lone Star Open. So 3 tournaments in a row, exact same list.
Oh, 3
down to the upgrades. So I've only done that one time. But
well,
I
yeah,
have
I
done
mean,
it.
so for me, it was just like I today I was like thinking about what I needed to do to get ready to go, and I'm like, oh, nothing. Like I have to paint some. So what I did was I painted my range rulers because I broke a bunch. So my old ones are
I
done.
had the same problem.
Yeah, so I got new ones. So I painted those, and then I painted new movement tools to match, and then I hadn't painted my recover the supplies yet. They were just kind of primed and on bases. So I painted those up, and I'm all good to go. I didn't have to look at my cards. I didn't even have to open my bag because it's all the same. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to playing and seeing what happens,
Yeah, I've just been slightly tuning my stuff and switching up. So I've been playing that Iden Dubacks for a while. And this last weekend at our local event, I did the really creative choice and just copy pasted Luke Cook's list to try out the item bikes version. And it's really fun. It plays slightly differently. It's a lot more all in on the Alpha Strike. Super, super good. So the version I'm playing, it relies on the Alpha Strike, but it kind of uses that as like a pressure piece, and then you zone with dewbacks and different things. It's a little less where like you're all in. Whereas the bikes list, you go tack strike, your 11x are usually up on people, and then you followed up with the 3 bikes. And holy moly, just adding in those 3 aiming bikes into your Alpha Strike makes it hit way harder.
It's gross. It's so gross.
It crashes and burns way harder than the dewbacks version. But a lot of my games are wrapping up real quick. It basically like just destroyed things or like went down in flames, which is kind of nice actually for like a tournament event to have games decided kind of by turn 3 so that you don't have to worry about time. So it's really good. I figured if I'm playing all this Iden dewback stuff, I should know all the different tack strike versions. And yeah, I mean, of course, Luke could played it, so no one was really wondering if it was good or not. But it hits super hard. Like I played a game of Vaps where I just tack striked and all in with the bikes on one of his Vaps and just like killed everything there, and then walked up with my ISF and like tapped it. I think I've only like tapped a Vap without a force user. I don't think I've ever tapped a Vap in a game. And so that was a game where just like the Alpha Strike was so tough that it just blew everything away and I could just walk up and hit that Vap.
Yeah, it's a very it's one of those lists that like very quickly how the game is going to go most of the time.
By the end of turn 3, it's usually clear. Either you dodge the tack strike and bikes and you've now killed all the bikes and like there's not much left once that happens, or the tack strike bikes hit you and now you have half an army. It's fun. It's a lot of dice real fast.
That that last Invader League game I played, he had Iden and ISF, and that tactical strike is no joke, man. And you got to be really even he doesn't even have the 3-3-3, right? It was just Inferno, and Iden was nasty. And I hearing Lucas talk about it all the time, I was kind of prepared for it, but I still wasn't 100% prepared for it, because the way they can manipulate and like move around to like get line of sight on stuff was nasty, man. And
infiltrate goes a long way towards that.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you talked about this strike team sniping, Lucas, and you've talked about that before. That's one function of Iden, I think, that is not used enough. Because like you said, you can kind of feint attack strike and then just play pulse scan on the first turn and kill an activation. And then attack strike is still good on turn 2.
And then Del Miko just snipes that turn as well. And then you just follow it up with the turn 2 attack strike. And now you're an activation ahead, so your attack strike is going to be even more brutal.
Even better.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
cool.
Before we give other tack strike players too many ideas, I think we should stop. I
know droids really are not allowed to listen to this cast.
You told him at the end.
I should have led with that.
Oh, he's like, oh no, how do I erase this?
Stricken from the record. Unhear that. All right, well, we are the Notorious Scoundrels. I'm Kyle.
I'm Jay.
I'm Lucas.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.